Hi, Jonathan York, Bay Financial Partners, looking at investment markets. COVID-19 still really dominating proceedings out there. You've got a global infection now of over 4 million. You've got deaths sort of 290 odd thousand. US leading the way still, over 1.2 million cases, and they've just cracked 80,000 deaths now. Interestingly, though, the latest sort of real hot spot after the US is now Russia. They're up over 200,000 cases. Interestingly, though, they've only got about 2,000 deaths so far. When you compare their data with Spain, Spain had something like 20 odd thousand deaths. So certainly, I think you expect the death rate in Russia to really creep up quite dramatically in the next month or so. Obviously, a lot of effort going in with the major drug companies around the world to try and come up with a vaccine and a cure. Certainly, there seems to be a little bit of headway being made on that. Gilead still seems to be having some pretty good headway, and it's just a question of seeing how that sort of works its way through. Certainly, everything is being really expedited through in terms of red tape and trying to get onto sort of human trials as quickly as possible. Now, against that backdrop, certainly in the US and the UK, the administrations tend to feel that they are over the worst and starting to sort of come down the other side, if you like, but certainly flatten the curve a little bit. Certainly, President Trump is very keen to get the US economy open and back for business. Obviously, you've got an election coming up November the 3rd, and it's going to be really very difficult for him to sort of campaign on re-election, on making America great, etc., when you've got record unemployment. Just to put those numbers into perspective, US unemployment currently is over 30 million people. That's well over 10% of the population. Now in the US as well, you've still got this sort of state and federal sort of battle going on, where some of the governors are saying, really the state isn't ready to be reopened. President Trump is really trying to force the issue and say, look, I want this open. We really need the economy back up and running. And certainly from sort of an economic perspective, certainly they do. But from a health perspective, certainly the US doesn't seem to have it completely under control yet. And it's just going to be very interesting to see how that sort of plays through. But certainly the markets have really come back pretty strongly. The US Dow is just under 24,000. And that's sort of it's only around sort of 5,000-6,000 off the lifetime highs. Now, certainly again in the US as well, President Trump is sort of trying to push for sort of negative rates. Fed Chairman Jay Powell has come out and sort of quashed that, said that negative rates will not work in the US. And certainly if you look at the examples in Europe, it doesn't seem to be working. So now really it's just going to be very interesting to see how the US sort of performs over the next sort of 4 to 6 weeks as gradually the states do start to reopen. It's just going to be an interesting one, obviously, to see the infection rate. You obviously see the death rate, and more importantly as well from the economic perspective, just to see what sort of growth comes through. Now, on the back of economies gradually starting to reopen, oil has sort of crept back and is back now sort of around that sort of $25 a barrel. We've seen some further cuts coming out of Saudi as well, so they really appear to be pretty keen to obviously get the price back up. Now here in New Zealand, pretty momentous step being taken this week. We're finally coming out of level 3, going down to level 2 on Thursday. That also happens to be budget day as well, so it's just going to be interesting to see what the government come out in terms of sort of trying to kickstart and really give the economy a boost after doing a very good job on sort of containing the virus and really flattening that curve from the health perspective. Now you've got to look at the economic and business perspective and get the economy back up and running. There've been a few capital raisings out there. The latest one has been Z Energy. You've seen Auckland Airport, you've seen Kathmandu, you've seen Vesta. These have all been pretty well supported. And certainly as it looks like the economy is now gradually going to start to be reopened, it's just going to be, again, to be very interesting to see how that sort of growth perspective comes through. Certainly the government spent quite a bit of money, but there really still seems to be a little bit more help needed out there just to give a little bit further boost. Now, quite interesting, mortgage rates now dropping just below 3%. Now that should give the housing market a little bit of a boost, but obviously, if there's a little bit of job uncertainty out there, it may just sort of curtail people going out from, looking for new houses. But certainly in terms of the financing, funds are pretty cheap. Now also coming up to year end for KiwiSaver, and just remember, if you can get that minimum contribution in there, $1,042.84 over the year, then you will get that maximum government tax credit. But certainly in this low interest rate environment, savers are doing it pretty tough. And if you're interested in discussing what options are available out there, call us on 0800 867 323 or go to the website www.bayfinancialpartners.co.nz for lots of interesting articles, and we look forward to speaking to you soon.